welcome to Beyond the Pour. I'm Nilu, your sommelier host, and today we're talking all things hospitality. And my guest today is the lovely Megan Cline of,
Hello.
yes, you guessed it, the Cline Family Cellars. Hi, Megan, how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Been excited to have you since I met you. I'm like, when is this gonna happen? Just love talking to you whenever I see you.
Yeah, we were fast friends.
I know it's over. We're going out every Friday night now. Uh, unless you're stomping grapes or pulling grapes or doing
Oh, you're
something you've got
coming
to be
with.
doing.
Don't worry.
I don't mind coming, honestly. It's always fun for me. But Megan, please do introduce yourself. Are you at the Klein Family Cellars right now?
I
Perfect. Well, please tell us a little bit
am.
about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Megan Cline. I'm part of the second generation at Cline Family Cellars. My dad started Cline in 1982. He started in Contra Costa County in Oakley area. It's where his grandfather taught him how to make wine. And then he eventually moved to Sonoma in 1989. He was part of the original Rhone Rangers, so he wanted to kind of spread the good Rhone word to
Love
Sonoma.
it. Yeah.
So came here, planted Rhone varieties, and I grew up on the winery until I was in about fourth grade, so until I was about 10. And growing up in Sonoma, you're like, wine is so boring. I never want to be in the wine industry.
Right.
Like, get me out of here as fast as possible. We eventually moved off of this property into Sonoma proper, and then we actually lived in the Petaluma Gap for a good 2 years when I was growing up. And so, anyway, I mean, honestly, growing up, I was surrounded by wine all the time, but it was nothing ever that I wanted to be a part of. It wasn't an industry that I wanted to be in. And I went to school at UC Santa Barbara and
Oh,
was there for 3 years. And I was like, okay, I need an after school job. I had worked in the bookstore, I had worked in different restaurants, but I was like, all right, I need something for the summer going into my senior year. And there was this wine tasting room down on the pier. And
hmm.
I got hired there. And I was like, okay.
Probably just throwing a couple of names around would have been enough, right?
I mean, I guess because honestly, at the time, I didn't know much about wine, but I think, and that's what I thought. But growing up around this, you kind of absorb things that you don't think,
Sure.
you're like,
Sure.
oh, this is nominal, but really, like,
Yeah.
you know more than 90% of the people just growing up around it. And so got hired at this wine bar, and my coworkers at the time were going through their sommelier test, and I was like, well, I think this would be a really good thing for me to have to learn about just on a different level. So I'm gonna take it with them. And I was
Wow.
21 at the time, and how fun you get to like drink wine. You're drinking blind wines, trying to guess where it's from, and studying about all of the wines of the world. And I think it
Yeah.
just really opened up my eyes to how amazing wine is. You're
Yeah.
so like Sonoma is one thing and you grew up around it, you just know one thing, and then your world gets opened when you start studying about the entire world of wine and you have such a different appreciation for it when you do that. And I like something lit inside of me and I knew that it was the path that I wanted to go down. And I had worked
Wow.
in hospitality beforehand, and there's something about wine and hospitality. There's this camaraderie with people that you have, and
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
love that about this industry. And so in 2015, I was working as a somm. I did my intro somm, I did my certified somm test, and I was selling wine, I was doing all of the big somm things, and I was like, I want to do something that is a little bit more tangible. Like being a somm, you're selling other people's work, but I
Sure.
want to go work a harvest and I want to like see what it actually takes. It's so easy to judge a wine. How hard
Hmm.
is it to make one? Like,
Hmm.
and it is quite hard. There's so much to go through.
No doubt.
And So I had come up to Cline to work a harvest, and I was like, I'm gonna work a harvest, and then I'm coming back to Santa Barbara. I That's where I want to be. And I came out to work a harvest at Cline, and then that was 2015, right
Yeah.
after I had graduated, and I have been here ever since for the most part. Um,
Right. So
yeah,
you never went back?
no.
So, but you had finished
Yeah,
UC
yeah.
Santa Barbara. You finished your degree. Was it viticulture? Am I presuming it's
No,
viticulture?
it wasn't
No.
because again, I had like gone down being like, I want nothing to do with viticulture. I studied communications, marketing, and I also studied Italian while I was down there.
Oh, wow. Of course, because were you going to go to Italy or were you just like, I love
I
all the Italian people?
Yeah, I mean, all both of those things. I am part Italian, so
Oh, you are.
my great grandfather, he was an Italian immigrant, and he was the one who taught my dad all about winemaking, right?
Yeah.
So I have this tie to Italy and my family over there, and I thought, I should learn the language. I think it's such a beautiful language.
So
Um,
beautiful. So,
so
and
yeah,
so many people have originated from Italy to, Lodi or Napa
yeah,
and started these amazing wineries. We could talk an hour. In fact, God, what a great subject to talk about all the different immigrants that have come over and
absolutely.
created these big brands, right? Absolutely crazy. I mean, so you started in that wine bar, and that's where you passed the sommelier exam and the W set as well,
I
or
didn't
was
do the
that
W
later?
set. I did the CMS, the Court of Master Somm. So I did my intro and then I did my certified. So I became a certified Somm. I
Okay.
honestly, I don't know. I wish I had done the W set. I think that I don't have you
You
done
know,
the
so weird when I was researching you, it showed up that you had W set 3, but it didn't
Oh,
say certified sommelier. So maybe maybe I didn't find that, but you know what? They're so different. They're
they're so
so
different.
different. I actually started with the WSET, and if you listen to my last guest, I just uploaded the episode 10 today. Actually, it shows. So please listen to that if you get a second.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
it's the wonderful Jessica Waugh, and she basically is the one to go to for wine exam coaching and stuff like that. She's just
Oh, how
incredible.
cool.
What a story she's got. But we were talking about that, and she could kind of what she does is figures out how your brain can work, how it can learn things better, and that kind of thing. And I was telling her, I said, the first time I took the WSET 3, I passed everything. I passed the tasting and everything. No, but I didn't pass the piece of the puzzle, which is the short essay thing. I
Mm,
don't know if you ever took that or not, but it's three parts. And so you take the tasting, then you do the theory, and then you do the other piece. And it would come back I took it twice, every time saying, "Oh, you didn't pass this portion." And I was like, "What? I knew the answers. What am I writing? How am I
yep,
writing it?" And then I got really frustrated and I jumped over to the court
yep,
side. And I'm like, well, that sounds fun. They're talking about pairing wine and food and this is going to be not as dry as the WSET. And so then I went for that and I passed 2023 I passed
oh
the
my gosh. Yeah.
certified one.
I mean,
God.
it's so interesting. They're so different. And I
Yeah.
think for me, at the time, it made sense for me to do quarter master somms because I was working, like serving people. I mean, and you took it very recently. I took it, God, like 10 years ago now, which is wild. Um, but you have to like open the bottle and make it whisper and
Oh, don't remind me. I have
I know
such
it was the most
PTSD.
stress-inducing thing ever.
Yeah.
And
And
so that made sense, but I think the W set, what I like about it is that you are analyzing wine based on like quality and where you think the price point is. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's just so different for like the court. You're really just trying to say, oh, this comes from X, Y, and Z area, and it's this vintage where um the W
Yep.
set like
It's
does
not
a little
it
bit cheaper.
it's just totally, totally different.
Yeah.
To say that I could not get the certified for the certified get the blind tastings right drove me nuts. I was constantly, my dining room table is full of bottles. I was
Yeah.
tasting everywhere trying to get these things and understanding the grid and all that crazy stuff. But I passed the WSET 3 tasting the first time. And I was like, they're so different. But for
It's
you, like you said, working in a wine bar or down the road doing your own food pairings and wine pairings, I think it makes more
yeah,
sense. But it really depends on what you're trying to do with the future, right?
absolutely.
They're,
And
they're both really good.
I think they're both great too because they like spark this interest, at least in me. It's
Mm,
the wine world, you're never gonna know everything. It is all about like discovering new things and flavors and culture and history. And it's like you're always gonna be learning something in wine
yeah.
for
It,
sure.
yeah.
And I think for me it was nice to have this like structured a process to learn about wine in that way and then able to like do it on my own afterwards. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
But
like really love the
the there's so many aspects to it, and you said that at the beginning, the fact that you're like, and I still haven't done a harvest. I really need to do a harvest one summer,
oh,
you know.
okay, come on over. We've
Yeah,
got
yeah,
some
no,
work to do.
seriously. Not this summer, but maybe next summer I'll come work at Cline or something. Because if you don't see all the aspects, we've worked in the tasting rooms, we've worked in, I've managed a few tasting rooms. Um, I've done the service, I've done the events, and the pouring and this and that. But obviously, that side, the wine production, winemaking, is a whole different beast and probably very difficult to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So definitely on Nilu's bucket list to do to round out my spectacular resume. No, I'm
Yeah.
joking. So, so tell me about your parents. Um, you know, they started this really wanting to have a sustainable farming going on for you guys, and you're still doing that. And I think a lot of this was with 7 children, really making a point of passing it on to the right people and giving you a land or giving you, God, more than I mean, how many acres is this area, the estate for you guys?
So I think across the North Bay and the North Coast, we farm about 1,000 acres under vine right now, which
Is that
is
all yours?
yeah, that is everything that we own that we farm ourselves. And then we work
Mhm.
with growers, like family growers across the North Coast as well to source what we do not grow ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
I mean, to your point, like a huge part of what we do and a huge pillar of what we do is working with sustainable farmers. And
yeah,
starts with ourselves, of course. And, it was in the year, I think 2000 that my parents decided, okay, we're going full organic, no herbicides, no pesticides, no synthetic fertilizers. And it was because we had been growing up on this property and had previously had more of a conventional style of farming. And, when you don't want your kids to be around certain chemicals, you of course don't want the people working in the vineyards to be around those chemicals. You don't want your customers to ingest that when they have the wine that you're producing. So
right,
it's really the precipice. It was like this light bulb moment for them that, of course, like this isn't something that we want in our vineyards. And that's carried through to where we are today. And it has been a huge pillar for us, like since then. So got 25 years
Right.
My younger brother Henry, he is now our vineyard manager for all of our Sonoma vineyards, and it's something that's super important to him. He just had his first kid, and I think
Oh, congratulations.
it's so great. I know
How
it's
fun is that? More babies. So with
more.
seven of you, there's going to be a lot of babies
Oh yeah, I have
running
three
around. Yeah.
nephews right now. So far, so
Oh, you're
far.
so lucky. Oh my gosh.
Beth.
And I am just itching to show you what this bottle is.
Oh,
But I've been asking so many questions and I kind of want to continue finding out about you guys. But I have a bottle. I don't know if you know this bottle. It's called Gust Wine.
never heard of
Gust.
it. What's that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not
Oh,
only I want to show you this very cool label, and I recently figured out what it is. So this bottle, which we don't know where it's come from or whose it is, but gust is the wind, right? And these are the kind of mountains
yeah.
going around. But what a cool label. And I'm gonna tell you a secret.
Tell me.
Megan makes this, Megan Cline and her sister.
Yeah. This is,
Don't tell anyone.
yeah, I would keep it under wraps, but actually tell everyone that you
Tell
know.
everyone. No, I'm so you were sweet enough to give me a bottle of this, and it's free, it's Riesling, right?
It's
What you
Riesling.
gave me is
Yeah.
Riesling. And and so let's switch the conversation to we know there's four of you out of the seven that are helping with the winery. And by the way, we never said where your winery is. So
Yeah. So
it's
we're based out of Carnero. So we're in southern Sonoma.
Southern Sonoma. Okay, beautiful. So is Jacuzzi yours as well?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Wow. I
So,
didn't know that till the other day when I was thinking to myself, they're right across from each other.
it's we stay really busy. I talked a little bit about this in the beginning, but my dad, he learned all about grape growing and farming from his grandfather. His grandfather's name was Valeriano Jacuzzi, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
was one of the original Jacuzzi brothers. Of course, when people think of Jacuzzi, they think of hot tubs, and he was one of 13 of the Jacuzzi family that invented the hot tub. But
No
what's very
way.
interesting is that he was the farmer of the group. The jacuzzi pump that eventually became the hot tub started out first as like an agricultural water pump, and then it became a medical device because their nephew had rheumatoid arthritis, and so they were trying to pitch it to hospitals and sell it as a medical device, and then it became this like luxury symbol in the 70s and took off from there. And they sold it a while ago, like very long before I was born. Um, but so my great grandfather, my dad's grandfather Valeriano, he was the farmer of the group. He provided all of the wine for the extended Italian family, and so my dad really wanted to honor him. And Jacuzzi Winery was a way to do that. So Jacuzzi is really focused on small, unique Italian wines that you don't really find everywhere that you go, and really didn't make sense to make it Cline. It's things like Teroldego and Nero d'Avola and Malvasia and really small lots.
Ooh.
Like we have a lot of fun experimenting with things.
So if you're looking for Italian wine, you go over to Jacuzzi.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right. And by the way, you do events at both spots, right? You do
Yeah.
weddings and stuff like that. Very, very cool. But let's talk about Gust for a second. And and this is a 2024 Riesling, and it is from it seems like your line is all from Petaluma Gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Petaluma Gap AVA, which if anybody hasn't heard of it, came to be like, I don't know, a few years back. It's is a
It's,
newer one, would you say,
yeah,
out
definitely.
of at the AVAs? And it's very well known for the crazy wind, right? And thus the name maybe of that area. But what do you think? Petaluma Gap AVA gives you that the other areas that you're farming on right now doesn't?
I mean, it is such a unique growing region. I think it's one of the most exciting in California because it really is the only growing region that is based on the wind pattern. So the wind comes through every single day. There is like a break in the coastal mountains, and it acts as a funnel, and it really funnels in all of the cool coastal air, and it comes through the gap um, every single day. And
Okay.
it does something super unique to the grapes. They actually like physiologically change where they have thicker skins and smaller berries. The berries are literally there, like trying to protect themselves from this harsh wind. And I think on average, it's between 8 and 10 miles per hour every day. That's like average. Sometimes it gets quite a bit windier than that. Sometimes not as windy, but very consistent. And so you actually see that change in the actual grape. And what that does, you have more concentration, you have higher skin to juice ratio, so you get a ton more texture in the wine. And with Gust, that's really what we're going for across all of our varieties. We're really looking to showcase what the Petaluma Gap can do, and it's all about the texture for sure. But I think it's such a cool growing region. It's super close to the coast. So you have the winds, but you also have the fog that will come and hang out sometimes till 9, 10 in the morning. So you just have this longer growing season. Grapes are hanging out there until like October sometimes. Like honestly, we were talking today. Um, we went out and sampled grapes this morning, and they're just like we're kind of sitting on our hands waiting
Yeah.
that we might be picking in November this year. Like,
Wow. So I could still make it to harvest
yes,
this year.
yeah, you can. I'm calling you. It's great.
But
Um,
this is and how many, so this is Riesling, but how many grapes are you growing there? What's
so
the Gust portfolio looking like?
so Gus, and I'll go back because I guess, when I was introducing myself, I didn't talk about Gus, but this is such a huge part of what I do. My sister and I started Gust in 2017, and we had both come. I came from the Somme world. She had worked in vineyards. She worked in New Zealand, then she worked in Napa, Sonoma. And so we both came back to Cline in 2015 with our different experience from outside and knew the type of wines that we love to drink. And my dad, he had expanded Cline vineyards out into what was then the Sonoma coast and is now Petaluma Gap, and planted Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Syrah. And those are the three grape varieties that really thrive in the Petaluma Gap. They love that cool climate. And for a long time, for Cline, we were either selling the grapes or they were going into blends that we would make. 'Cause we would make a Pinot and a Chardonnay, but they were bigger blends. And we were like, this is such a special site. It's so cool. All the wines coming out of this area are delicious. Like, we think that we can make wines that really reflect this place and from what we think are like the most beautiful vineyards in the Petaluma Gap. And so we met up with my brother, who is our vineyard manager, and we did a big survey of all the different blocks. And we were able, because he's our younger brother, to be like, all right, we want these 10 rows within block A and these 5 rows within block B, and pick and choose our favorite sites and then our favorite rows within those blocks to make Gust. And so our portfolio now, when we first launched and started in 2017, our first vintage, we did a Chardonnay, Pinot, and Syrah. We wanted to be true to the region, really produce what was most well known for the Petaluma Gap and do it at the highest level. So we've been doing those since 2017. In 2023, we started making a rosé. It's a Pinot Noir rosé that we're picking intentionally, picking early, trying to be really fresh, bright, clean style of Pinot Noir rosé. And then back in 2019, we were like, all right, we love this region. It's producing like some truly expressive wines. Like, we should plant varieties that we love to drink that we think would do really well in the Petaluma Gap in that cool climate. And we love Riesling. Like, I think Psalms love Riesling. Like, I'm sure you love
All
Riesling.
the Psalms love Riesling. It's so interesting.
It's so
And
interesting. It's so beautiful. It does obviously so well in cool climates. And so we talked to my brother, we talked to Tom, our winemaker, and we were like, hell yeah, let's do this. So
oh, it's so
we
nice. Yeah.
we planted a couple acres of Riesling in the Petaluma Gap in 2019. And then in 2024, which is the wine that we both have in our glass here, we made our first vintage from that block. And so this is the wine that I thought was like such a good expression of what Gust is. We're about
Yeah.
experimentation, but also making like really classically beautiful, like fun to drink wines.
I want to send this bottle to. So my first interview was the Joris Gutierrez Garcia, who won the best sommelier of the Americas. Such a lovely person. And if you listen, it's my first recording, and he had won that. And he says, I said, what do you drink when you just want to chill, kick back, and he's like, Neil, I would open a bottle of Riesling.
Oh
And a
yeah.
lot of times he talks about Mosel and stuff like that. But I swear I need to send him a bottle of this, or one of us has to.
Yes,
It's like
I
you should do it. And say we talked about it, because he would love this. And so many Psalms do, like you said. What an awesome story. And I tell you, for anyone who's looking for to get through this heat, there
yeah.
is no way than getting one of these and putting it in your fridge, and which is what I just did, opened it up before our recording. So let's, you know, let's talk about a few funny things that I always ask people.
Uh-oh.
Um, because we want it to be kind of interesting and fun as well. Now, if you could share a bottle of wine with anyone living or dead, who would it be, and what do you think you would pour? Probably not your own, something else that
Oh my gosh.
that you
Okay.
love.
This is such a good question, and it's such a hard question also. Like, oh my God, you have me like very much racking my brain. But what I will say is it would probably be Anthony Bourdain. I mean, I like love
Oh,
his content so
yes.
much. I think he has so much soul and like cares so much about story and just like connecting with people that I think truly probably sharing any bottle of wine with him would be super cool. Um,
What an answer.
and like
Girl, I've always wanted to meet that guy. I always wanted to sit down,
like
have some food, and drink a bottle of wine with that guy. You got it. Oh my gosh.
yeah, like
Great
what
answer.
and honestly, yes, I would 100% drink a bottle of wine with him, but I would love to like have a shot and a beer with him and
Yeah. Well, you can do that with me now,
okay,
since you
great,
might not
great.
be able to get hold of him.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
here for you. I'm here for you.
Okay, great.
That's a great answer. What's your to-go wine? What's your go-to wine pairing that people wouldn't expect? So again, would it be something weird like popcorn with Pinot Noir, or something that people are like, "Ew, I would never try that." Have you ever done anything like that?
Let's see. I mean, I don't like the way that I used to be really like, I guess not strict about wine pairing, but be like, oh, I have this like very firm set of rules that you're like, okay, you need to pair the flavor with the flavor, or like the acidity needs to match from the food and the wine, or what grows together, what grows together goes
Pairs
together.
pairs
Right?
together
That's
goes
the
together. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
but I think okay, I like love Chipotle. I
Yeah.
love Chipotle so much, and maybe I would do like Chipotle with some Riesling. Like that sounds good. I like the
Ooh.
spicy salsa,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so you need like a little bit of that fruitiness and like freshness to balance it out. Maybe I
I
don't know.
love it. But here's the thing, the stuff you said before is what the Psalm world has put into our heads.
Mhm.
So when and that's all the correct verbiage. but I've taken those what are they called? Those it's these puffy chip things that are
Okay.
spicy. I can't remember what they're called even. And I've had those with Sauvignon Blanc, and it was so
Yum.
freaking good.
Okay. Love it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you can go crazy and do something that nobody's thought about,
I know. Well, and
Uh,
that's what I'm like, oh yeah, I used to be like, oh, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And now
mhm,
I'm like, I want to drink what I want to drink and I'm gonna eat
that's
something.
it.
Sometimes there's like weird things that pop up, I'm sure. I like love
Yeah.
a late night quesadilla and some Chardonnay. Like,
I love that too. That sounds beautiful. What's a wine myth you wish you could uh bust
hmm.
right now?
I think that wine has to be something that's really scary. And like I think it's so easy to geek out about wine. Like I love getting into the nitty-gritty details, but like it doesn't have to be that at all. Like I was also having this conversation earlier today because wine should be so much fun. Wine is fun. It's all
Right.
about like hanging out with
Yeah.
your friends and like drinking something that's amazing. And when you lose that, when you're
Yeah.
trying to like you're too scared because you don't understand X, Y, and Z region or what malolactic fermentation means, then I think you turn people off to the experience. And
Yeah.
like wine is so great even when you don't understand those things. And I
Yeah.
think it's so fun to dig deep into it and like get nerdy if you want, but also like don't feel like you have to. I think just like what you like and enjoy it. Wine is such a great beverage and it should be a part of, your everyday like enjoy it with food and yeah, I don't know. When you go to France and you go to Italy, it is such like an integral part of their culture. It is with every meal. It's not super expensive. It's not like uh it's so approachable. And like that is what wine should be for
Yeah.
everyone. And I think that is like the myth that I would want to bust. It's like not unattainable. It is like for everyone.
What you're saying right now is the topic of conversation for so many people. And I think the more I talk to people in the wine industry, the more I'm getting this. And approachable is the key word.
Yeah.
And we've gone to a place, and this is just my 2 cents on it. We've gone to a place where we're so much talking about terroir and where the water hits the slope, where the sun hits the vines, where this, which is great for you and me when we're
Yeah.
studying, right? And when we're nerding out, we love to learn that stuff. But the average person doesn't want to know that.
Yeah.
They want to know, can I take this red wine and pour it into my ice cream? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yes. Try it. Let's
Like,
see.
serious. I'm like, and a lot of us being Psalms, we're scared to talk about that because we're gonna get thrown out of the Psalm dynasty or something. But here's the thing. If that's not working right now for the younger crowd, first of all, great that they're not drinking as much as we used to. But also let's make it fun.
Yeah.
Let's make it goofy. Let's come up with anything but those strict rules,
Yeah.
and get people. So I'm totally 100% in agreement with what you
Yeah.
just said.
Absolutely.
Do
So,
you have a favorite song you play at the end of harvest, or a special occasion in the production facility or something every year? You're like, this is, like Rambo, Rocky or something. I don't know. What's your favorite song for that kind of thing?
oh God. I mean,
And I've had some interesting ones from Oops, I Did It Again to
oh God.
uh yeah, there's been a
Oh,
hilarious one. One of these days I'm gonna invite all the people that have been on the show and we're gonna laugh
make
like
a
crazy
playlist.
of it and make a playlist and have them all sing to those. That would
Oh
be fantastic.
God. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess like I'm like a big fan of the classics. Like I love Neil Young. play Harvest Moon. That's
Artist
my
Moon?
go-to. Yeah.
Yay! I love that. Okay, I'm writing it down here. Of course, I will remember that. That's fantastic. Where do you see Gus Wines going? I'm not even saying 5 years from now,
Yeah.
in the next year. I know you've got some dinners planned. I just saw that pop up
Yeah.
on my and that's where El Dorado
El Dorado
Hotel
Kitchen, and then
kitchen.
we're pouring some of the Gust wines also at Indigo in San Francisco, a restaurant in San Francisco. So
Look,
yeah.
where do you see the in this next year, where do you see Gus Wines going?
I mean, I think with Gust, our entire approach is just like being as intentional as possible. So I think we want to grow a little bit. I mean, grow where we're still able to maintain the quality and, you know, where we're able to pick out our favorite rows and it's still real and it's still the wines that we love to drink. So I think we want to grow a little bit, but I think it's really just getting more people to learn about the wines and about the Petaluma Gap. I think
Yeah.
it's really about educating people on this really amazing, cool growing region that we love so much and we're so passionate about. So,
I love that area, and I think that maybe we should do a whole podcast, talking about the Petaluma Gap
oh my
AVA.
God.
So if you're down, we'll talk about that later,
Yeah.
and we can taste not just your wines, but we can taste a few different ones and just see how different they end up
Oh,
being because of that wind and that,
yeah.
that so that'd be great conversation for down the road. Um, I want to finish off. So that, by the way, tell us when that dinner is that you're having.
So next week we have two dinners, one on Wednesday, the 27th, and that is EDK. And then the next day is the 28th, and that is in San Francisco at Indigo. When we talk about wine being accessible and wine being like not so low barrier to entry, I just feel like our property allows for that. And we make really amazing delicious wines, but we love having that relaxed setting. That's just such a reflection of who we are as people, and we are farmers, like first and foremost. And I think it's anything you could ever want. It's just to like chill, hang out, have a really delicious glass of wine, looking over like bit of water.
Bit of water, flowers everywhere,
That's
blooming, roses. I don't even know the names of those flowers, but it was a beautiful setting. I'd been there before, but I hadn't been there in the last couple of years, and it was just so lovely to be able to sit in the quiet and look there at the pond.
yeah.
Um, and of course, taste some beautiful wine. But Megan, I could talk for hours with
Oh,
you, and don't forget that shot and that other thing, that
definitely.
you talked about. That's Nilu. So we'll do that another day. But lovely talking to you, Megan. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
spending
much.
some time with us on Beyond the Pour. And for our listeners, go visit Cline Family Cellars in Carneros, and then also, when you watch this, please do like, please do subscribe, please do tell your friends and share. Thank you again, Megan. Appreciate it.
You so great talking to you. Thanks.